Yo! Video games.
All right.
Oh.
So we saw Avengers and Finite War.
Oh.
So probably
SGE War.
Oh,
Definite
shit.
war.
I don't do wars.
Here's a good question.
Yes.
Was this movie more anticipated / looked forward to than like latest Star Wars movies?
Oh,
I think so.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think
I
this
think the latest
Oh my
Star
God,
Wars,
yes.
yes.
more than Last Jedi, but not as much as Force Awakens?
I think maybe.
Maybe not. That's close.
I think I'm actually really curious the opening box office of this to see if it breaks Force Awakens.
I think it's going to break Force Awakens.
Because didn't Black Panther break Force Awakens?
No,
not
Well,
yet.
No, it's inching close to
It's inching.
over-eclipsing Last Jedi,
yeah.
which is
But
a far cry
but
from Force
worldwide,
Awakens.
You're going up
Yeah.
against Star
Okay.
Wars. That's
Worldwide-
a huge. I mean, that's,
Yeah, a reboot
that's
of
pretty
Star
tough.
Wars.
World War.
That's pretty tough.
Force Awakens is 3.
Oh, wow,
Black
that's-
Panther's 10.
Wow.
So it goes.
Well, okay, so if we really want to get into this whole tangent, Star Wars has no
I
fucking
review.
market in China.
Yeah.
It doesn't
That's kind of the
exist. China
problem.
don't
That's
care.
why,
Yeah.
this movie's going to
So-
kill it.
Yeah, China
There
loves
are-
superhero movies
I mean, there are Fast and Furious movies that have made more worldwide than Star
because
Wars.
of China, because of overseas. Yeah.
Because of
So-
fucking China.
Yeah, I was kind of like going into this excited, anticipated, trying to stay away as much as possible because unlike most, the only thing I really know about the Infinity War is a lot of like the comic book cover, and I never really read it. My experience with Marvel lore quite literally boils down to reading X-Men 1 through 25. Wolverine gets the adamantium ripped from him, and I never read anything beyond that. I got caught up into a video game or some shit, and comics were not interesting anymore or something. So going into this, I didn't really know what was going to happen or boil. Kenny later revealed that the events of this film are like, oh, that is what happens. I'm like, okay, well, I get it. So something's going to happen in the end to conclude this story. So instead of getting into the super spoilers, we'll start off with the not so spoilers. I'll start with Steve. What did you think of the movie in general?
In general, it was very well thought out. I love the characters. It felt like it was more of a movie about Thanos than any other character.
I'm glad you say that.
It was a movie that was designed to, and this is what I'm talking about, where I feel that if they make a specific movie about Doom, and then bring in, the Fantastic Four and stuff like that, it'll be a really great movie because you establish the character.
Yeah, because the most interesting part of Fantastic Four is Dr. Doom.
Yeah, but since they ruined it, and Dr. Doom was like some kid with
He got in a garbage bag.
It was so bad. It ruined the idea of the character being a villain. Like, I hate hokey villains like, I hate to mention the Justice League again, but goddamn, Steppenwolf was so goddamn bad.
So Steve does have a good point
He's so
about
bad.
this movie that I realized about halfway through watching it, and I was, this isn't a spoiler, but Thanos is essentially the main character of this film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting take that I was not expecting them to go. I thought they were going to bounce around between Tony or Cap, and they do. They do bounce around to those characters a lot, but in terms of like screen time,
the focus,
and character empathy, they really hammer Thanos home during a lot of this. Did you actually like that?
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. Like, have a character that you can love to hate. He is a bad guy, but there's a reason why. Not just, oh, I'm a bad guy and I want to kill everybody. Ha ha ha. Like, I hate that fucking bad guy. Give us somebody that we love to hate. This is why we love the Joker, This is why we love Days of Future Past, Like, he's a bad guy for a reason, not just fucking idiotic anger and shit like that. So, great fucking movie. Like you said, I didn't expect to have that focus on that guy, but at the same time, it worked. It worked.
How did you feel, Simmons?
I feel that the whole thing with the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity Stones, I really feel like we did it better, personally. So I'm just saying that if you go into this movie,
I'll have to go find a clip.
A pathetic human has no place trifling with the power of the Infinity Gems. I'm gonna slap you right in the dick!
if you go into this movie thinking that, it's going to be like the ultimate high quality representation of Infinity Stones and the Gauntlet and the powers and all, and even Thanos.
Unfortunately, Captain
we did
Commando.
it better.
Unfortunately, Captain Commando does not get the Infinity Gauntlet and become the most tyrannical villain in Marvel history.
I know you can't. I know you can't. Have everything perfect, but we did it.
I liked our Biff Commando.
So I'm just saying it is not as good as the way we did it.
All right.
That being said, okay, but all seriousness, I was a little cynical going into this movie. Big fucking surprise there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, I kind of feel like I know what's going to happen. There were some surprises. So it's not in exactly paint by the numbers where you look at the title and go, Avengers Infinity War, okay, this is what's going to happen.
What happens to some characters happens sooner than I thought it would.
Yeah, there are some surprises, which is nice.
Yeah.
However, I don't feel in a sense that overall I wasn't like, it was not walking out of Empire Strikes Back.
No.
Like, I can't believe any crazy revelation. What I got was a good time. What I was worried about was, I guess what everyone would be worried about going in is that this movie is just too loaded. It's too messy.
It is very
Too
loaded.
many characters.
Yeah.
Too much to follow.
Well,
blah, blah, blah. They did it well because...
Yeah, I would say it doesn't feel messy.
Yeah.
It does feel like, well, I understand where these characters are coming from, even though I did not know what was the exact last thing that happened between Cap and Iron Man. It took me a moment to be like, oh, that's right. They beat the shit out of each other.
yeah.
And Iron Man's dad was killed by Cap's best friend. So, oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah, so they actually, I think they were pretty smart about the way they divvied up all the screen time
Yeah.
and stuff.
They definitely did.
I'll continue with what Steve said. There, because when it starts the movie, you see the Marvel Studios and it says 10, like it highlights the.
Sure, 10
Oh,
years.
it's been 10
cute.
years, right?
That's cute.
Because there's been 10 years of movies and we know everyone's story and backstory.
Yeah.
So there's no Justice League moment where Wonder Woman holds up a guy. This is the lasso of truth. It forces you to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
Explain anything.
Thank God.
Yeah.
There's no weird recap.
Yeah.
Star Wars title crawl. It treats you like, okay, you probably know who is what and why.
They
Thank
respect, they
so
respect
you know
the
what?
audience.
Who's the one character who's not gotten a lot of screen time in the 10 years, but has been around?
There you go.
Fucking Thanos.
There you go.
So a good idea to kind of make it about him. So it was a good time. It will not be the best movie you ever see. It won't even really be the best action movie you probably ever see. And I'm not going to say...
Oh, no.
No.
It's probably not my...
It definitely... This movie hits a lot of Marvel fatigue. A lot of superhero fatigue in this movie.
And there's moments of like cinematography, and I'm like, that's a very Russo thing to do with like a far shot and then like a sort of jilted zoom in.
Yeah, there's some
action happening.
I actually appreciated a lot of the character moments in this film.
Much better than even just the fucking balls out moments.
Well, that's the idea, is that I feel like in these Marvel movies now, I care more about characters talking to each other than seeing them fucking fight.
Right.
And most of the fight scenes, I just want to see the conclusion of the fight scene at this point. And most of the time when things start going around and giant metal blades start spinning all over the place and people start redirecting that stuff, and then it cuts to some part where so he's flying around his jetpack and shooting this stuff, I'm just like, my brain turns off. Brain is just turning off. And then it's to the point where some character's going to get to some character, they're going to have some shit to say to each other, and that's where it starts to get really interesting because they're moving the story along.
Yes, exactly.
The fights, I feel like there's a lot of battles in this movie.
Yeah, but I feel it was the smarter because they didn't do, they didn't go like Return of the King necessarily, where it was just like a constant,
battle.
Constant
there
wave
is
of
lull.
They
scenes.
didn't Michael Bay.
Yeah.
They didn't transform it.
Sure, yeah.
Well, the idea is that it isn't like Helm's Deep or some shit where there is a war throughout the whole film and we get some side things of what other people are doing. There are controlled skirmishes throughout this movie with Thanos.
They're better, more intimate fights.
And the Zerg. Literally, like, and that. And that
it was actually
bad.
almost a little disappointing, and like it's not too spoiler because it's in every trailer. But I mean, when you see a bunch of a Zerg rush of enemies, you're like, here come the jobbers.
That was pretty much.
Here come the fodder. Okay,
they get shit done, but it's like, I'm like, just get us to the thing, get us to the meat. And
you know what I think? I think it has to be done right. Some fight scenes aren't that good in movies nowadays because we've seen it all. But, I remember back in the day when I used to watch, like, Wu-Tang movies and shit like that and see and I could actually see the choreography and stuff like that. I enjoyed stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
But when you got, like, a giant field of people just going, "Rah!" and all this crazy stuff is happening, you lose touch.
So, if you want to think of fight scenes, like battle and action that you really enjoy, what movie do you think of?
For close quarters or
just in general,
scale?
like
just in general for fight scenes and
when
stuff.
When characters are fighting, what movie does your mind kind of go to?
Terminator 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I go with Ong Bak. Like
Yeah.
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 Or something that
No
has
strings.
meaning. Matrix Part 1.
Matrix?
Yeah, yeah.
The Matrix?
I was
Yeah.
gonna say Matrix and John.
The Matrix, and I would say The Matrix.
Yeah, yeah.
And guess why everyone fucking says The Matrix? Because the circumstances that lead up to the fight scenes in that movie are super critical.
Yeah.
Like, it is the first time this character's
kinda
ever
true.
done this.
Yeah, yeah.
This is, no one's ever tried this before.
Yeah.
We're the only ones left. Like, the stakes are super big.
Yeah.
Even though the battles themselves, not huge. It is
Yeah.
a guy versus a guy. Or it's a guy versus a couple of guys.
Yeah.
So, ultimately what happens in this movie is that there are so many battles, and yes, the stakes are important, but the build-up to them has lasted like so many movies where the characters are going through so many battles that it hits that, for me, it hits that Marvel fatigue.
Yeah.
It's just
yeah.
like, okay, they're fighting. All right, I get it.
Yeah.
I
They
think
need to get the stone.
yeah, and I think overall, obviously better than Avengers 2, obviously.
I would say it's the
And I would say,
second best Avengers movie.
I'd say it's better than the first because I just didn't give a fuck about the villain and situation in one.
Well, Loki
It's like,
was
here's Loki. I'm like, why Loki? Here's Chitauri. Who cares? Like, I'm like, it was well done.
I was gonna say because I think Loki was established pretty well.
I think Loki's a good bad guy
Yeah.
for the first movie.
Sure, but
Yeah.
he's not Thanos.
Exactly. He's not like holy
not
shit.
Thanos,
Like
yeah.
oh my god.
He's not Thanos. So it's like the bad guys are better. I mean, I don't know. I was always kind of like on doing Loki and the Chitauri in the first movie.
Sure.
It was always just about, hey, it's cool to see these characters together for the first time.
It is
Sure.
true.
But overall, it's a good Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It's upper half, but it's not better than Black Panther.
You think Black Panther is actually better?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
I would say
Oh, yeah.
I would say Black Panther is a better movie, mostly because it gets to focus on its own story.
Yeah.
And because this movie, it is pretty much and I'm not saying it's bad either until I get into my impressions. I'm just saying that it is a product of what it is. It is the culmination of 10 years of Marvel films.
Yeah.
And no matter what's going to happen, they have to give all the characters their screen time besides and
Yeah.
Spoiler shit.
is that a spoiler?
Yes.
Oh, that was a spoiler.
You're gonna
But
have
they're
to
not
put
in
in a
any
warning.
trailers anywhere.
Yeah,
Or-
but
Or
even then,
posters.
even then,
posters.
even then, it could have been a surprise though that they
poster.
show up like later on.
That's
so.
true. You have to edit that out. so-
It's gone.
Put it up,
You
yeah. Put a
have to
warning.
review
Spoiler
it.
warning. 3, 2, 1.
Is it now?
Yeah,
'Cause
it
we didn't
is.
even
Well,
get to.
it's gonna.
You just have to put like
No,
a duck,
we're not
a
there.
duck squeaking in that point.
Yeah. We didn't even get to your impression.
I don't know. I feel that it is a product of what it is, and it's not a bad movie. It's just. Let me just get to Kenny's thoughts. Go ahead, Kenny.
I don't know. I
wanna-
was the complete opposite, man. I was fucking enjoying the hell out of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
like from start to finish. Like, and Sim was like, "Oh, it's not gonna leave you like Star Wars." At the end, like my jaw was like on the floor, man. Like, with everything
Yeah, this movie
going
takes an
on.
interesting direction towards the
and
end.
it was definitely like for me, it was like a Star Wars moment. Like,
But you said you saw the comics, so you knew exactly what was going to happen. So why was it jaw dropping?
well, I'll go
Well,
into that
mostly
a
like
little
where are
later.
they going to
Okay,
end
okay.
it at?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'll go into that later. But
Okay.
the whole like things escalated really quick in this movie.
Sure.
And a lot of like things were just happening fast, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? Okay,
Yeah, they don't have a lot of time.
I kind of
Yeah,
they didn't
yeah.
have a lot of time, and the undertaking of having 10 years of all these films and putting it together in one film so far is pretty phenomenal. I think they did a fantastic job of like.
I think it's what we can all agree on.
Like, and I'll say DC, like they had their, whatever, what are they called, the
Justice
League, and they couldn't even do it that
No.
well with 4 characters.
Well, I mean, that's something
they're having different universes come together in one movie, and they're still doing it well and having characters come and interact and everything like that. I get a lot of points with Max saying like, yeah, I kind of do want to see these characters, interact, and like, yeah, I want to see the fight done, and I want to see this character interact with this character. So, but the action sequences were awesome, man. It was super badass to see these characters that have never interacted before and interact with each other and have fight scenes together. So
Yeah.
to me, I was blown away by this
I
film.
think we all can agree that the integration of like 10 years worth of movies into one movie is handled just about, I think, as good as it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't think by having like, let's just say this movie has like 48 characters. It's got like a
Yeah.
Marvel 2 roster of
Oh, yeah.
so much crazy shit has to go into this film to make it work. I think the best thing they could have done was to take the character we know the least about and make us know the most about him by the end.
To create a
And
story.
that was Thanos.
Yeah.
Thanos. No,
Great
that was
story.
that was
Yeah.
another thing that was super well done. Again, there's another awesome villain this time around. So I'm like, all right, they're getting the villains good. They're getting, and,
Yeah.
you know, every villain is the hero of their own story, and you get to see that with Thanos.
He's great.
Yeah.
Not as good as Killmonger.
Killmonger is rooted in reality and things that
Yeah.
Yeah,
There it is.
that's
There
why.
it is.
That's why.
Yeah.
You can relate to him a little bit more than
In
a
all of
guy
our-
who's from outer space.
Yeah, like
So,
Killmonger's
yeah.
plight is like rooted within our
Yeah.
fucking modern society. While
Yeah.
fucking spaceman,
Reality.
Yeah.
while Grimace like trying to get the Soul Stone is
Grimace.
a bit different.
No, it's a bit different, and I could almost agree that like Black Panther is a better story. It is a very like
I'd agree.
It is
Because the character's more relatable.
yeah,
Well, the characters are more-
It's like a Shakespearean like play, you know, with family and all that kind of stuff. And this one kind of goes back to more of a popcorn movie because
Yes.
I had to think about that. I was like,
Yeah.
where do they go after a giant, massive scale? And they tone back, but then they don't have to. Like movies don't have to be about these giant world-ending events and everything like that. They could be,
Sure.
you know, character stories where they're really fighting, you know, amongst themselves and shit, you know, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I do largely like agree with like what Kenny says. It's just the repeated action sequences.
Yeah, it is Marvelism.
It gets marvelized really fast, and it's like I don't even disagree with them having to do that. Like you
Yeah.
have to fucking do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I mean. Like the movie is a summarization of 10 years of films, and it is exactly what it is. Like I can't negatively ding it for it, but I can't help but feel that at some point during the film and the progress of events, I was just like, okay, we're gonna lead to another action sequence, but I just really want to know what the fuck Thanos does. And I feel the biggest part of the film. Well, before I get into spoilers, I think I've already said my thing. I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. Favorite Marvel movie still Captain America: Winter Soldier, because that one tells a personal story about Cap and focuses on that and the interesting shit that happens to lead him up to it, and has some really interesting set pieces and locations, and it's just really fun. So I think it's good, but here comes the spoilers from this point forward. I like Thanos, but they try to make him too much of a good guy. It's like he's got this side which he's this murderous, like genocidal fucking maniac, but I'm just the sweetest person, and the way he handles himself and abducts children, like he really thinks he's like the Messiah.
He's fucking Gil.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he really is
Yeah.
kind of Gil-like, but my biggest problem with him is that he's not audacious in any way. He is an extremely soft-spoken.
He's a very humble man.
Yeah, he feels like
or
a-
alien, whatever.
well, humble and soft-spoken. Like
Yeah,
I almost didn't like that. It is like Josh Brolin's voice straight up.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And there's like no, it doesn't make him seem like a monster. They try their hardest to humanize
Nice, that character.
fuck
Yep.
out of Thanos.
Yep.
Almost to the point of which you go a little too far.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I kind of want to hate this guy more, and I do hate him because he's fucking blowing up everything.
He's
and
not
shit.
arrogant in any shape or way. Like, he's not arrogant, and that's what's crazy about it. Because
Yeah.
in the comics,
He's
he's an
the
arrogant
story.
asshole.
So
He's an asshole.
Super
Oh, yeah.
spoilers. The part where super spoiler warning you, like this is like triple fucking warning.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
The part where he has to kill Gamora, and it builds up to him crying and
yeah.
the tear. I'm like, this is way too over dramatic. Like and it's supposed to be dramatic, but the way it's handled, like I'm not feeling for Thanos. And Gamora's like, are you fucking serious?
Right,
And I
because
felt
she-
like I was Gamora in that moment. Like,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
tears.
Yeah.
Those tears are not for you.
I was
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I was pretty much there in my head when it was happening. He's like, because she's like, you don't love anyone.
Right.
He's like crying. I'm like, oh my god, are we fucking serious?
Yeah.
Like, you're really gonna try to make me believe this?
Yeah.
Nope. I guess he does. Okay, really?
Yeah.
I guess.
There's a story there that
It's a
they're
long-
trying
and
to...
it's like I get it, and like the
Yeah.
culmination of events and everything that's Thanos is. They try to make him relatable because he is technically the main character of the movie, being a genocidal maniac. But I felt it just went a little bit too far in some ways, and while he still is the bad guy, and I root against him, it Yeah.
The problem with the ultimate problem with Thanos in this film, and again, triple spoilers,
Yeah.
is that they're kind of using a very age-old trope with him. You know, something that's been around in a lot of other film, comics, TVs, animes, games. Wesker, Resident Evil 5 plot, I'm saving the world,
Yes.
the weak will
I'm
perish.
saving the universe.
He's not doing, the only thing is he's not, I'm like, the weak will not perish, the strong will survive. He's just doing the whole,
balance.
I'm just gonna call half. There's no, he even says straight up, like, it's random.
It's random, yeah.
So I'm like, it's a little too overdone for me. Because I almost would have liked it more if they did bring in Death.
Yeah, that's what was surprising to me, is that they completely ignored Death.
He is just that fucking mad and crazy and in love with Death that he would be willing to kill half the goddamn universe to bring Death out.
Right,
and
but they ignored that, and the fact that they even acknowledged it in the previous, what was it, the Avengers 1, they acknowledged it, but then they scrapped it in this one.
It's the court Death, but it was just the same.
It was the same.
It wasn't literally like, hey, Death is going to come out.
But you get what they were going with when he smiled.
If you have any knowledge of what fucking happens with the character, you're thinking, oh, it's Death. The girl Death.
Because, I mean, actually, I feel it would have fit in the movie.
Sure.
So much in that movie is all about sacrifice and sacrificing your loved ones.
For a second, I almost thought it was when they went to the planet.
With a bunch of couples in the movie.
Yeah.
There's a whole big thing about sacrificing your loved one.
Your friends, your loved ones.
Yeah, and like, I almost feel like it would have fit if Thanos was doing the same effing thing.
Right.
He's like, I will do anything to be with Death, including killing all these people.
I don't think they had enough time to establish Death as a character.
But they use Gamora as that character. I don't know if this is the way it takes place in the comics, but either way, it's kind of irrelevant because it is the movie and it is different and restructured.
Sure.
But the way it felt in the film, it felt like, the whole we're going to axe Gamora sequence was like a little... Like they're going onto the planet and they're like
he goes onto his personal spiritual journey.
Yeah. He goes.
It's a soul stone.
He goes on a spirit walk. In this movie. I did like, even though for some reason, not Hugh. What's his name?
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
Must have been busy or some shit because Red Skull shows up and he's all CG.
Yep.
And I was like, is it Hugo Weaving's voice? I can't
I was
tell.
trying to figure that out too.
I didn't even check the credits either. I should have.
But when they showed that it was Death, when it showed that it was Red Skull, I was like, are they in hell?
Yeah, that's what I thought for a second.
That's what I was. I was like, so where are they exactly? That Red Skull is still alive, but he's
somewhere where souls go. That's all we really know.
Yeah, that was really confusing to me. I was like, where exactly are they?
Which I think was teasing to a greater point that like no one's
really dead.
True.
Movies.
Yeah.
Like no one's ever really
and they
gone.
also teased it several times with, once again, spoiler, when Loki dies right at the beginning of the film.
Resurrection this time.
They literally say it twice, where Thor is like, he came back, but I think he's really dead this time. They have to literally acknowledge it twice that Loki is actually dead to convince the audience that he's actually dead. And I get it, he's not coming back. But they do off quite a few characters. The stakes do feel high, so I was like riveted through the whole movie. And the way it ended, I thought was really surprising. Like, it ends super dark. It ends with half of the Avengers and many of its characters just fading off into space, and a really, really good moment with Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was harsh, actually. That wasn't a good moment. That was a harsh moment.
It was good because he felt shit.
Since we're all in spoiler territory, I didn't expect them to do that. I was totally expecting Cap to die off in this one.
or Iron Man.
And then Iron Man would follow suit in the next Avengers film, right?
I was shocked that
both of them survived.
That Strange essentially sacrifices the stone for Endgame to save Tony. So Tony's going to be pivotal towards the conclusion of what is going to happen. Because I think Tony eventually is
the big hint. But
this is what's crazy. I think, you remember when Strange went to the future and saw all those episodes? I think this is the one that he saw.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
He's like, so this is the only way to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, and that's the idea, is that he's like, well, in one of the possibilities, this is how it has to work out. So give him the fucking stone.
This is how it has to work.
I mean, it's still like 1.5 million chance.
Here's the thing: I don't have any fucking emotional connection to all those characters disappearing.
Sure.
Because I know the fucking universe will be reset in the next Avengers.
Or the one after that.
Just knowing the fact that they finished production on Avengers 4 about 2 months ago. knowing that there's going to be more Spider-Man movies, knowing that there's going to be Black Panther.
I think that's
it's kind of like, well, none of these characters are really fucking
I think all
gone.
the announcements of their future movies that they make very public sort of spoil the fuck out of the end of this film.
Oh, am I sad that happened? No, because they're all going to
But
fucking
it said
come
like
back.
Spider-Man will.
And who knows? They might be
Infinity
prequels.
War.
Who knows? They might all be prequels.
they've
Every
already
event that
announced
happens
there's,
before
like,
that
another
happens, you
Spider-Man
know?
movie. They've already announced that
I mean, there are
another
photos.
Black Panther movie.
Like, there are photos of fucking, I think his name is Tom Holland, who plays Spider-Man, and, you know, a bunch of the characters who did vanish at the end of this movie on fucking set, you know, doing, like, the last day of shooting where they're all having a cake and shit. I'm like, well, of course they're not fucking gone.
I mean,
together.
even with that said, it still doesn't. You still have to have a really good story of how they bring them back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And the next one comes.
Yeah,
in.
I mean,
so ignore all
like
that shit.
Gamora's
ignore
gonna
all
come
that
back
shit.
because there's a Guardians 3.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's
Ignore all that. Just
it's so
put it-
blatant. Like, Tony's gonna get the fucking gauntlet. He's gonna make the ultimate sacrifice. What did it cost you, Thanos? Everything. Tony will sacrifice himself, thereby exiting Robert Downey out of any more pictures like he wants.
Stop being so
And then
cynical.
everyone will come back.
Stop.
And then everyone will have a happy ending. They're not going to spend $600 million on these two movies combined to have this fucking downer ending where like 30 or so 60% of the cast is dead. No. Like, come the fuck on.
So, how about Spider-Man's costume? Did you see the arms?
It was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
And he had the fucking spider. He was like a real spider or something.
Iron Spider was dope.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, I see. I know. I see exactly what you mean. But I did appreciate a very different tone to the film.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I liked the most
I didn't
about
think
it.
they were going to go about it this way, which was kind of surprising. I was like, yeah, there are surprises.
Yeah, I
But-
thought they were going to actually wait to the next film for him to actually get all the Infinity Stones, and I actually
really?
Same here.
I thought they were gonna tease it like
I
there's
was-
one more left.
I was
Yeah.
absolutely convinced watching this movie he's gonna get all fucking six
Not
stones,
me,
and
not
it's
me.
gonna be this sort of downer ending, which will like tease you, lead you into the next one. I'm like, I'm totally expecting this.
Yeah.
Now, in the teaser, 'cause I know you guys have watched the teaser. I
Wanna
think I
go?
saw a second where Captain America catches the glove. Did they change it? Did they change the stones? Because at that point, he had 5 stones and was just missing 1.
No, when he catches the. Oh,
You
yeah, right.
remember
Like,
he
that's
catches the fish.
Yeah. And you saw that? Okay.
Well,
Well, that's when he's walking towards.
no, there's.
Oh, you mean in the trailer?
Yeah,
in
the
the
trailer,
trailer.
yeah.
Because I'm wondering if they just changed that. Because I think.
No, if you only saw 5,
discovering it.
if you
Wouldn't be
only
that
saw
hard to do.
5, then yes, they changed it because he obviously had all of them at that point.
Well,
No, actually, he
was
did. He
missing
did.
one.
He did.
He was missing one. That's
He was
right. That's
missing
right.
one.
Yeah,
He was
he's
missing
sitting.
mine,
well,
yeah.
that
Selling
scene
myself. Sorry,
was right
yeah,
before he got it.
Got it. Yeah, right before.
That was when
Because
he's
I'll
holding
have to
up
watch
and
the
he throws it
trailer
away.
again to see if like. Because I remember hearing someone in the office go, "Oh, he only had 2 at that scene or something like that." And I was like, "See, that's why I don't
Oh,
watch
they
trailers."
probably
No,
just
okay,
fucking
No,
turn
he
that
had-
layer off.
Yeah,
He
turn
had-
that layer off.
He had
exactly.
5 in the movie when Cap's
I know
holding
that.
him
I know
up.
he
But
did.
in the
I
trailer,
know.
it only had
In the
2.
trailer,
All right, we're just
Okay.
saying that
But even then,
the
yeah.
spoiler in there was a spoiler in the trailer potentially if he had all 5
5 of
6
them, right?
gems
At that time.
At the time is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Right, which is
Um,
what he's saying. Like, oh, people get spoiled. He knows he's going to get at least 5.
Yeah,
I'm
and
like,
that's,
Right, right.
but
But
I had no idea because I didn't watch any of the trailers.
absolutely convinced walking in he's going to get all 6 of
and
this.
I didn't know where they were going to lead off at, and I was also kind of confused at what happened because even Cap is like, "What did you do?" Like when he blows up the Infinity Gauntlet, and he literally blows it up in like half of his fucking body. So I'm kind of confused if that's when he essentially puts into plan that obliterate half of life, like right in this instant, and then it happens a little bit down the line.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what happens because he essentially confronts
I have-
his one love, which is Gamora.
I thought it was funny how he fucking tells Thor, should have aimed for my
Your
head.
head, yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, you really should. Oh, you couldn't do that in a PG-13 movie.
Yeah.
I'm like, you were defeated by the MPAA, good guys.
I was actually confused on when they actually had, the whole team had like strapped him down there trying to pull off the gauntlet.
Yeah.
How impenetrable is his skin? Because they could have just fucking chopped off the goddamn arm and then, taken the gauntlet off the arm.
Well, he has a Titan.
Right. So, but
I
how
mean,
much?
yes, they show arms getting chopped off, but I mean, like,
Yeah, I was just like, okay.
I don't know
there's
how
a
far
chance
they're
that
willing
would-
to go unless it's like a laser and it's serrated.
You're
off.
right, and just like the other monster,
Right.
It was completely
it would have
clean.
had to have been something like that.
Yeah,
in terms of like just a
like that.
being that doesn't even have the Infinity Stones, Thanos is pretty buff.
He's very strong. And another thing that was
He is
disappointing.
He is a Titan.
Another thing that was disappointing was
Fucked
they
up
didn't
Hulk.
really explain why Hulk didn't want to transform.
No.
Afraid.
It was a little bit from Thor Ragnarok where he had that whole like, oh, I don't want to transform, I can't go back, or I'll have to, whatever. I think it's a carryover from that, but it was still kind of like,
Well,
I think it was a wimp,
Really?
man.
Yeah,
He
like, he
got wimped out.
should've-
He got wrecked.
And speaking of trailers, the trailer shows Hulk running with the fucking Hulk Buster behind him. So him being in that fucking suit completely throws me off because he was never actually Hulk when he was running with the fucking Warriors. And he was in the Hulk Buster the entire time. He
wow,
was
so
never Hulk.
they diverted. You're saying they diverted people from the trailers?
From the trailers to make it seem like it was Hulk was
Interesting.
like,
Interesting.
but
And I didn't watch the trailer. I only saw the trailers like once. So I didn't
Yeah.
really.
yeah.
But that's a good something. They should do that more. They
Right,
should
to
do that
fuck with
more.
people and get into
And since there's so much shit going on here, that's such like a weird thing to like. That's good. They're like
Yeah.
just trying to divert your attention from what actually
Keep thinking
happens.
he's going to transform. Keep thinking he's going to transform.
Right, that's what I was expecting because I'm like, where's the freaking scene where he's actually running with the crew?
I mean,
you know?
it's good because they're actually saving that. But the funny thing is that Hulk fights Thanos at the beginning of this movie,
And gets his
Thanos,
ass
Thanos doesn't
handed
even
to
have.
him.
Thanos has like one stone at that point.
Yeah.
Well, that's why his
And he
like
beats his ass.
his minions were like, let him have fun.
Yeah.
But he
So-
had one stone on him.
well-
Was it the Power Stone?
Yes,
He has the
it was
power
the power
Well,
stone
then
at the
there you go.
beginning. The weird thing is that at the beginning, that fight already takes place, but now they're seeming to save the Hulk transformation for something really big.
Right, which was
They're
really
going to
odd.
save it for a big moment, but Thanos is going to have the fucking Infinity Stones, and he already got his ass beat, so I don't know what the hell you're saving for.
Right.
You better have a lot of creativity around this shit.
Which is what I was totally hoping for because
Yeah.
Hulk is the strongest there is.
yeah.
No,
And-
I've been disappointed how like with the Hulk of like
Lately?
how how
Yeah.
handling
He's
him.
not as strong as he's supposed to be in
Of
comics.
course, no. Like
And in
he
comics,
gets
the Hulk's-
angrier and angrier,
And he gets
bigger
larger and
bigger
larger.
and just
And that's the Hulk.
stronger, and it's fucking.
That is
awesome.
the Hulk in a fucking sense. Is that the reason why people are so afraid of the Hulk and why there's an entire comic around
Unkillable,
Hulk?
unstoppable.
Yeah.
He's the Incredible Hulk. Nothing can stop
Yeah,
him.
he can't
Yeah.
be stopped.
But-
that is his power.
But the latest iteration of Hulk movies,
Damn.
he's been kind of weak.
Yeah, it's weak, man.
It's
That's
somehow
like my
they'll write him.
favorite Marvel character.
Who knows?
growing up
Somehow
was the
they'll
Hulk.
write him into something.
So an interesting note. We had a Spider-Man review like a year ago or something,
Yeah.
and I thought the movie was great. It was a great Spider-Man movie, but I just didn't like it because Spider-Man was a fucking yappity bastard, and I wanted him to shut up. Like he was
Yeah.
just too much talking to himself, very faithful to the character, and it just means like I've never really loved Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I've never really loved the character, and that movie didn't help. But I like the way he was handling this movie a lot. It helps. He makes a
Good
fucking.
shit.
It helps. He makes an alien
talking about?
reference.
Oh, there's
yeah, he does.
Yeah, he makes a
does.
straight aliens
so,
reference.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
do the directors. Did you catch it?
Huh?
When they send Squidward into space, it is a direct shot for shot
Oh yeah, of him like,
recreation of the Queen making the same pose
Yeah.
as she gets blasted
Yeah,
up.
there is a
I was like, wow, they're really
It is a
straight
really-
up just
Huh.
like
Damn.
there. And then he talks about like
The chest bursters.
chest bursters
Yeah.
at some
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, like
Yeah.
I like this kid.
I like this kid.
Well, he makes
I mean,
he makes like 80 references to Star-Lord too. He makes like
Yeah,
some fucking
Footloose.
He talks about
Footloose and shit like that.
And
Was
then
like,
Tony's like, if you make any more pop culture
Oh,
references,
you know what?
Yeah, I was like, what
turned
the
to
fuck?
Ready Player One.
yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
what?
It was borderline Ready Player One.
And,
like, how
so,
does that happen?
all in all, I kind of liked Spider-Man's plight in this movie. I liked the way he was introduced. I liked that they gave him cool shit to do. And,
Yeah.
like he had this cool moment with Tony, and he actually has a really good send off in the end before he dies.
yeah, and he has a good. I like
Man.
it too because he's very fish out of water. Like he's
Yeah.
out of his
He is
goddamn
the one
element
character
here.
that he is the fucking Marty McFly of this movie because everyone else has been doing this shit for 10 years. And
Yeah.
Spider-Man is the one guy that is like,
Just jumped in.
I just
want.
want to do the
I'm
right
out of my
thing.
goddamn
Yeah, yeah.
element
Like, I'm
here.
really,
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm way far away from my friendly neighborhood, and he literally says that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I don't have a neighborhood, then I kind of dug that. Like, I almost wish that Spider-Man carried us through the movie instead of, and that I think that ultimately makes me realize immediately what is a disconnect of this film for me is that you don't have your character, you don't have your audience member character.
Oh.
Spider-Man is the audience member character, but he's in like 1/10 of the movie.
Yeah, he is the audience character for the journey him and Iron Man and Doctor Strange are on. Like,
Yes.
because it's all like spoiler. It's all the way they segment it out is really good because what they do is they kind of hodgepodge all these different sets of Marvel characters with each other, and they're on their own little thing.
Yeah.
You know, this guy's trying to do this thing.
They're
on
in
Earth,
space.
This guy's in
These
space.
guys are in nowhere.
Yeah.
These
Yeah.
guys are on Earth. Like,
Yeah.
there's a lot of big sequence of events that happen. And like I said, don't think it's bad. I think it's handled about as good as it can be. But because we don't have that character that we have that empathy for, I never felt empathy for Thanos. Like
No,
him falling
I
in-
feel they tried.
I feel they
tried
try
really hard.
and
They
that's the
tried
thing.
really
They
hard.
try really hard for you to feel empathy for this character, that he feels like he is saving the universe
Yeah.
because the universe is running out of resources because y'all keep sucking that shit up and y'all
Yeah.
keep reproducing too much.
Yeah.
I am the one that is going to fix it, and no one else believes me. I believe that he believes it.
Exactly.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
You did a good job, but the whole part with him and the crying and Gamora, like, is the one thing that he attached his love to.
You know
Which
what the
I'm not
problem with
really
that?
sure why.
You know what the
Yeah.
problem with that is because they never established it. They had the whole Guardians of the Galaxy
Well-
and this movie to kind of establish it, and they never really
And
did.
the only you'll get
The
from those
only
movies
part-
that he's a goddamn monster piece of shit.
The only part that they kind of do is that he just saved her from the rest of the crowd, but they didn't really explain why or why he had this attachment to this girl or why this girl has this attachment to this guy.
Yeah,
Nothing.
like-
They
They do it
don't
quick.
really. It's
Well, the thing
it's
is,
too damn long to
it was
establish.
Such a big story.
Yeah,
It's just
you
big
couldn't
long
do it. I
movie.
understand they
Because
couldn't do it,
I get
but
his-
because of the reason that is there.
he-
I don't know why he was so attached to Gamora. Like,
Yeah,
I don't
there's
get-
no reason for it.
No,
because
we don't
of
know.
all the planets that he supposedly has gone to and genocide and he just randomly decided this one little girl, I'm going to fall in love with
this
it
one,
and,
yeah,
and
right.
train it and be my surrogate daughter.
is
I'm
his
like,
daughter.
But understand that. I think he supposedly, I don't know if this is comic truth, but he's supposed to have multiple daughters. It's not
Well,
just those
we
two.
had Nebula.
There's
It's
also
supposed to be like a
Nebula,
bunch
the
of-
blue robot girl.
Right,
is
but I'm just
also-
saying not just her and her. I'm
Yes.
saying like multiple. Like,
Yeah.
like fucking Bison and the
Well,
Dolls,
the guy
you know
comes
what I
in
mean?
the beginning. He's like, "Hey, you're beating the wondrous children of Thanos, and you're going to be killed by them."
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So I guess
Yeah,
Gamora
yeah,
was
yeah.
the one that he truly
Truly
loved
loved,
as a
right,
daughter.
right.
It was just kind of like, why her?
Exactly.
Other than
They
the fact
never
that
Especially
established
when
that.
when they hammer it home several times how much disdain she has
for him. Right.
Yeah.
And now he says, "You always told me that. You always told me that.
Right,
You always-"
right.
And it's like there was never ever a father-daughter thing unless unless the one we're talking about, Thanos made in his head.
Right.
Just that one.
Right.
And another kicker is
Thanos
that
just wanted a family.
is,
Yeah.
and what's the kicker is the fact that to him it was like not even that long. Thanos is supposed to be what, like 1,000 years old or something like that?
He's been around for a while.
Right. It was only like 20 years. He even mentions that. It's like, yes, it's been 20 years and you're still doing that. You're still trying to
Yeah,
kill
for
us.
20
years and stuff like that.
he
So
said that.
That's like nothing.
So I think ultimately like that kind of fell flat
Right.
for me.
A little bit. I felt it was kind of like their replacement for his quest for death.
Yes.
You know, I
Okay,
want to
there you go.
be with my
That's
lost
what I-
love.
yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
I have this weird love attachment, like father or daughter love attachment to
two.
Gamora.
Okay,
I'm
I could definitely see that.
okay.
Yeah.
If they need something to
I
replace
think
that.
I think Josh Brolin does a great job.
Yeah.
I can't attest to the job Josh Brolin does in terms of mocap and
Performance,
facial cap
yeah.
and performance. I think they do a good job. I just wish that he was a little bit more diabolical. You know, I just wish he was kind of a little bit more bad. And they make us try to sympathize with him so hard and make
Yeah.
him so soft spoken.
I would be
Yeah.
okay with the sympathetic Thanos if it was all this crazy fucking insane. I'm doing this because I'm in love with something I can't have.
You know what it
Like
is?
if it was just crazy ass unrequited love,
He
I'd
is-
be like, yeah, that's kind of different for
He-
the end of the universe
he
supervillain.
very much is Superman bad guy.
Darkseid.
Or
No, not Darkseid. He's
Steppenwolf?
Zod.
Zod.
Oh, Zod.
Zod.
Yeah,
Because
Zod.
he loses his planet, he warns them that bad shit's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
Bad
they
shit-
kind of threw
bad
yeah.
shit happens to the planet, and then he's like the last of his kind.
He's a survivor,
He's
yeah,
a survivor, and
yeah.
it's like I doing this because this is what happened, and we have to do this. Like this is
Yeah.
for my
I mean, like, you
my
know what?
people type of thing.
He's like, I'm the only one that can make that sacrifice. Who's gonna bear all that weight?
Yeah, and
killing
even
trillions.
in
I
Zod's
can do it.
situation, do you sympathize with Zod? Like
No.
you're supposed to,
Yeah.
but it never really lands because you're
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
That
Like-
character was never really established. He seemed like a maniacal bad guy. I will find you!
Well, that's the idea. Is
I will find you!
with I mean, I'm not saying Zod is better, but
Yeah.
Zod is a bad guy that you love. You want to see him get his ass kicked.
Right.
Like I don't really want to see Thanos get his fucking ass beat, other than the fact that the main characters are really mad at him. Like I felt they needed to villainize Thanos a little bit more.
You know what it was?
And it's a weird balance. At one point, it's like,
Yeah.
you need to have the focus of the story being around Thanos. I think is really good, but at the same time, it makes for not as great conflict in the end.
You know what it
Yeah.
is? Fucking Thanos is a little too much. Steppenwolf is not enough.
Well,
You need to find a fucking balance in the middle of that where you can have a character. You can do that.
DC.
Well, see, here's the thing. I felt like this movie was such a great example of why Justice League fucked up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
They had Thanos had his jobbers
Yeah.
who even kind of look like Steppenwolf.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's like
right.
4 or 5.
God
of
damn,
them.
yeah. The
The
cinematic
jobbers were
universe
cool.
jobbers are
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
And you know what they are? They're fucking jobbers. And they die.
Yeah.
The whole movie wasn't about any one of these jobbers. They didn't try to make their big culmination about,
And
But they were cool.
Thanos also had his Zodlings.
Yeah,
with
the-
the girl,
That's what I'm saying.
the whole
They
guy. It was like the same
are-
shit.
They
The
are
Four Horsemen.
Steppenwolves.
Yeah.
The
And that's
Four
exactly
Horsemen.
what Steppenwolf should have been.
Yeah.
Oh, there
A
you go.
jobber
There you
general.
go.
This
Yeah.
movie was almost showing DC, hey, you fucked up with Steppenwolf. Here's what he was supposed to be.
do, yeah.
A fucking jobber.
Yeah.
For one or a couple of them
An
to
Here's
fight.
interesting one, because you know they were kind of interesting. Those
Pretty much
I
like
like
the
the
chick that
squad.
got slammed into the weird space
Sphere?
elf.
Yeah.
They got thrown into the spikes from
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio,
Yeah.
and then the other guy that got blasted into space through the shield over
Yeah.
Wakanda. Like
they were cool.
one of those
I
characters.
I dug them.
I'm gonna agree with Max too, because I'm thinking about Thanos, and he was fighting a lot of the guys. He didn't just, be a dickhead. It's like, oh, is this your man right here? Crunch, and just fucking just like kill Bucky or kill somebody like that.
Yeah, he didn't
Just
kill him off.
because-
He never
no.
really did
You know
any
what?
of that.
He just kind of like, oh, boom, boom. He was using the gauntlet, and he wasn't really using it to the full power.
Yeah, he was
wasn't really
he was
killing.
trying
He was
to
kinda knocked
kill,
down.
but
I thought they were dead when they what was it,
In the
the Guardians of the Galaxy, where he
Yeah.
like fucking turned him into puzzles, and he
Yeah.
turned the other girl into like fucking
Oh,
squiggly
yeah.
thing.
And
I
that's
thought they were,
yeah.
I thought they were
Reality
dead.
stone.
Yeah, he used a reality stone and
Yeah.
fucking. I was like, holy shit, they're done.
The only part where you really get it that Thanos is like a bad guy is the Nebula torture scene.
Yeah, remember the
And
torture?
that does a good job. Like, I am sacrificing one daughter to get the information from another.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
I there needed to be some more of that, because we haven't actually we
Yeah.
know that Thanos goes and he pretty much tells all of his Zerg dickheads
Yeah.
to go take over a planet.
Yeah.
And then he walks around all high and mighty.
Yeah.
And
I think we might get more of that
in the next
Avengers
movie.
Oh,
maybe?
yeah, for
because
sure,
he got
for
what he
sure.
wanted, so now he's just
He's relaxed.
happy, content,
Yeah.
and fucking benevolent.
Yeah.
And now maybe we can hate him more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
We can hate
think
him after that
that's.
Spider-Man
I think that was
scene.
the big gimmick of this movie, where I wanted to hate Thanos more, and this movie tries really hard to make you like him. But the reasons to make you like him don't really
impact.
They don't really fly.
They don't fly. And for me, it's too much of this. I don't know, this like cognitive dissonance where it's like, I know they're all going to come back because they're all going to be.
Yeah, I
you
would
gotta
say
take that out of
I would
your
say the
head,
general
man. You gotta take that out of your
surprise
head.
of
Yeah.
seeing fucking Black Panther just die,
Yeah.
of
Dude,
seeing
yeah.
like Bucky just go
Like,
away.
I'm
is
not
like,
sad because I'm like, I know they're going to be back.
Simmons. It happens in the comic, of course.
Which, again,
so
I'm
many
like-
characters die in the comic,
And then
Yeah,
come
they
back.
come back.
What's your
Yeah.
point? Like, I want, like, I know that everything will work out in the end, but I'm going to be sad because
Even
the
in
movie
the
wants me to be
even
sad.
in the
It's like,
comic, even in the
So
comic,
then
you know
if
they're not
they
going to
were
cut
out
this
live
character.
and just be like,
Even
"Ah."
in the comic, Simmons, you know this character's coming back.
Ju-
Exactly.
Why-
So then-
why-
exactly.
Why
So
was
then-
why was
I've
the-
never torn up about anyone dying in a comic. I'm like,
Yeah, why was the
Yes.
death of Superman one of the most important
Impactful things,
moments
yeah.
in
people
comic
thought
history?
he was dead.
Because people thought that Superman was going to die, and he literally
Everyone
came back
has died.
2
Captain
months
America,
later.
Yeah.
everyone almost in the Marvel not cinematic comic book universe.
I was
has
like, you know what?
died.
I'm expecting Tony Stark or Captain America to get off, and then I'm like, let's see if they can make it really emotional because I know they're not coming back because that actor has said I am fucking done after these movies.
Okay, how
so
about
that's
this?
where I'm
Chris
expecting
Evans-
this
How about this?
like
How about this?
Specifically,
dramatic
well,
death.
we're going into future spoilers.
Yeah.
Chris Evans and Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Terrible names today.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
No, De Niro's fine.
have both said that they don't want to. They're done.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Like they're
Chris
done after
Evans,
these.
in fact, wasn't even at the premiere of the movie because he was doing a play.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he said, like, my biggest condolences to the fans at the premiere. I could not make it because I had prior engagements and a commitment to a current theater performance I'm working on or something like that.
Wow.
So it's like, whoa, he's done. Like,
Yeah,
he's
like,
super done.
I think he's in 4 because I'm pretty sure I saw him in the
Right.
photo. So I'm like, he's gonna die, and then I'll see if that can be emotional or like okay, satisfying emotional.
What was-
When fucking Tom Holland Spider-Man dies after being in
One
2 movies,
Yeah, you
one
know
of
it's
his
coming
own,
back.
and then this one, I'm like, he's not
They're
fucking.
gonna
Oh,
come
in Civil War, I guess. But I'm like, he's not fucking gone.
Well,
He's
okay,
obviously
what
gonna
about
come
this
back.
when they revealed that
That's
Captain
fine.
America was a bad guy? Did you like, oh shit, like they actually made him a bad guy? Did you feel anything, or
Oh,
did you
you
know
mean-
for a fact that he was going to be like, nah, they're
You
not going to make
mean
him a bad guy?
Probably gonna be a good guy.
the Hail Hydra spin?
Right,
I
right,
thought
right,
Hail
right.
Hydra was like a really, really poorly implemented idea.
Right.
If we really want to get into some real nerd shit,
Yeah.
when the comics decided to make Captain America Hail Hydra
Yeah.
or whatever, I was like, you are so tone goddamn deaf, whoever wrote that thing.
Right.
Because I'm like, Captain America started as basically American propaganda.
Of course.
But I mean, he was read and enjoyed by children and GIs in World War II as sort of motivation and moral support, and then to say he was secretly a Nazi the whole time, I'm like, oh, fuck you, Marvel. Like,
Right.
I'm like,
But there's no impact.
Hydra is Nazi.
there.
Hydra is Marvel's code word for Nazi.
Right.
No,
but there's no impact there, right? There was no impact because he felt like, oh, he's going to come back anyway.
Over there. They like Hydra. They have lots of different members, like from Asia.
Yeah.
So it's not this like Aryan race Nazi. It's
Sure,
they've got
but
like Asians. They've got
issue
some
number
black
one's
people in
cover
it.
is Captain America
Of course,
punching
yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah, of course.
And then what did they do? Even in the movies, they said Hydra was a fucking offshoot.
Yeah, but
of
you know,
the thing.
if
And
you
then
go look
then
into
they-
the Hydra thing, they're almost the same. They're
yeah.
almost the same impact as Thanos. He's like, yeah, we just kind of
They
want to
think,
rid
well,
the world.
the Hydra's big thing. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw Captain America, and I saw it many years ago.
Yeah.
Their big thing is that they think they're bigger than Hitler, like fucking
Right.
chasing
Right.
these
Well,
stupid.
Of course you're doing that because that's the more like, you know,
But he's not
socially
not
easy to
Nazi.
swallow pill.
Yeah.
Is what it
yeah.
is. It's literally just
It's the best.
like-
It's the best way to handle it in this day and age, like because you can't take away the early World War ties to Captain America.
Exactly. It's basically just a cover up because they're like, well, we won the war.
Yeah.
We don't want him to stop fighting people,
Sure.
so we're gonna say they became this.
And
Hydra
Hydra
thing.
originally originated in Japan, actually. in the comics.
Speaking of
And guess
Hydra,
guess
in
who was
Japan.
part of the Axis Alliance?
Yeah, of course.
speaking of Hydra, why Red Hood? Why was he the keeper?
Oh, Red Skull.
Red Skull. Sorry.
Because at the
Why was he the
beginning,
keeper?
I think at the
He was
I
searching for the stones
think
too.
he held the stone and it eventually I think it blows his ass up in the movie and at the end of Captain America 1.
Yeah.
Because him and Tony get sent into space on some spaceship thing. And I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, I don't remember the movie. I honestly
the movie
don't
was
remember.
I
kind of
actually
forgettable.
never watched it.
Oh,
So
there
they
you
get
go.
sent into space and they have a big battle on this spaceship thing where he tries to grab the Soul Stone and I think just gets like obliterated or blasted into space or some shit.
Right.
But wherever they go seems to be this like higher plane of existence, and whoever tries to like I guess sort of take the power of the Soul Stone becomes like the last line of like people that try to are now sucked into the Soul Stone in a way to tell the fucking story.
Right.
Like, hey, I was the last guy to try to do this shit like 80 years ago, and I'm telling you,
it's not gonna work.
I held it, and I'm fucking here now.
Yeah.
So, but you could go down there, but it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, so he's whoever's like the last person. That's what it felt like to me.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because I'm like, why
he's
him?
the last character to see the Soul Stone.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. 'Cause, well, wait, wouldn't Gamora be the last person to see it? She
No.
knew what she was?
She knew where it was.
Okay, she never
And
actually.
she got
she found a map,
map to it.
Yeah, okay.
But said to burn the map. So the only way there would be any evidence of where the Soul Stone is in her head.
Okay, gotcha.
So she knows,
Right.
but there's no.
Speaking about Star-Lord, kind of fucked up this whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like he fucked up royally.
But I'm going to give it to Max
Hmm.
and Thanos. Thing you were happy about. Bubbles.
That was my
They were making jokes with Thanos.
My happiest moment.
Throw a bubble. And he's got to throw a bubble. And I don't know if someone played. I don't know if Kenny, you have read Infinity War comics. How often does Thanos throw bubbles?
God damn, man.
Thanos, does he throw people bubbles and they get stuck in bubbles? How often does that happen?
How did that translate over to Marvel vs. Capcom?
Well, that's what Thanos.
How?
That is what he does
In the
that's
game.
like his main move.
In
in
the
Marvel
comics?
2,
Yeah.
In Marvel 2
But
and
in
Marvel
the comics, I don't
Superheroes.
think he's ever
Well,
done that.
That's why I'm asking
That's
Kenny,
good.
because Kenny's probably the only one here that has actually read the Infinity War comics. What is the relation of Thanos to bubbles outside of the Capcom games? That's my question.
God damn, man.
Because he ain't got no bubbles in Marvel Infinite. He ain't got
He's
no
like-
fucking
he's like
bubbles.
he's entrapped people. I just don't remember bubbles. Like he did do this finger snap.
I was really hoping.
In an instant, half were gone, and that was the thing. It wasn't as like impactful in the comic. They just
Yeah, it happened off
banned it
screen.
instantly.
You know what would have been better?
Instantly.
You know what would have been better? He snapped his hands and everybody turned to bubbles.
Bubbles.
There were two
Yeah.
bubble instances in the movies which made me very fucking happy.
Yeah, there were
Of course.
two.
I was like, oh
We're
man,
gonna-
I really
I'm gonna-
hope Thanos has
I'm gonna
bubbles.
read
Thanos
the
bubbles,
comments.
yes!
I'm gonna read the comments later to get someone to like.
I'm googling that
back up.
shit, man.
But because
I'm like,
there,
Thanos and bubbles.
it is a long-running meme with Thanos that we've had. Thanos in the fucking Marvel vs. Capcom games in the Versus series where he just throws bubbles.
It throws you off because he's like the
Sure,
baddest,
he does other shit.
awesomest
It's like a
guy,
Incredible Hulk.
And he
goes,
picks up rocks and stuff.
And he goes,
But the main move of his is like, bloop, and he throws a bubble and he goes, and you're stuck in a bubble. And there's 2 moments where bubbles literally come into a thing that he does with the goddamn Infinity Gauntlet, and I'm like,
there's got to be something there, you know what I mean? Either directors watching Marvel vs. Capcom stuff, or it's actually a correlation in the comics.
There is actually something in a huge fucking movie that relates back to the Versus games that I'm really happy about. Or it's just that's the thing he did in the comics. So
Well,
I've never really been sure.
In the comic, when he snapped his fingers, it's like instantaneous. These characters are gone. So they did it way more cinematic. We're like, oh, I disappeared. Now I disappeared.
It wasn't at the same time. They were like, this guy and then this guy.
Yeah, it's like it was going through the random number generator and just picking people. It all didn't happen at the same time.
In the comic, it was like, oh, boom. What the fuck?
So,
where'd he go? Gone.
I'm going to address it right now. I probably would have liked this movie a lot more if I left the theater before watching the teaser. Because what they
say, what's your least favorite part of this movie?
My least favorite part of this movie is what it alludes to, and where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is kind of going from this point forward, and why it seems like they are so adamant about getting this X-Men shit locked down as soon as possible, because you start to understand that the remaining Marvel stuff that they have in terms of their pantheon might not as be wildly publicly acceptable, but all things considered, which is known, and that's what's wildly known, that James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy fucking awesome. It is absolutely a thing that they can make characters that are relatively unknown fucking awesome.
Right. Like if you had done an Endgame teaser, I don't know, let's say back in Iron Man 2 or I don't know, whenever I don't remember when all movies came out, but if you Endgame teasered one of the big Marvel movies with Guardians, he'll be like, what the fuck is that?
But after Marvel has been like,
now
Guardians 1 was Guardians is well known now, and Guardians when it came out was a big risk and handled so well that it really shaped a lot of how Marvel movies are from that point forward, because they became a lot less dramatic. And they became more fun movies, just like how Guardians
Thor literally became
Guardians 3. Which was a better thing for the movie.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because movies were.
At the same time, they're now reaching into the barrel of what is, I guess, newer Marvel, and not as much the Marvel that is like the Marvel. And I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off because everyone's gonna be like, "Fucking Miss Marvel," and this shit is so fucking sick. And then I get it, but comic books died hard in the late 90s, so a lot of this stuff isn't going to be nearly as relevant, because the things that they're referencing before are when comic books were in their heyday to their huge, like, I don't know what I even called the 90s is. I don't know if the 90s is the golden era, but it's when comics were at their biggest. It was at that time. So a lot of these stories built up to and had characters referencing to moments that are in the movies now. Infinity Saga, and that shit was huge. Civil War, and all that shit was fucking...
Well, Civil War's kind of like way more recent.
2000s.
Civil War was like something that happened.
Infinity Wars is the 90s, and then Civil War was recent.
Wasn't Infinity War like 80s or something?
Infinity War was like 89, 90, 92.
Yeah, it was in there, and then this.
And then from Infinity War,
like they reversed it for the movies. Is all I'm saying.
Exactly.
It's kind of weird how that happened.
Civil War, I remember causing like a big stir because it was this crazy thing. Like, oh my god, they're fighting each other, and then I wonder. It's like, what's going to happen next? Are we going to get fucking zombies? Like, because that was a big thing for a long time.
And you did. You don't know about the Marvel Zombie series?
That is a thing. You didn't? Wow, I didn't know.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
It's 2000s thing.
Yeah.
There's a whole Marvel Zombie series.
No. I mean, no, I know about the comics.
Oh, okay.
I thought you said there was a movie.
No,
I do know about the Marvel Zombies comics. Literally riding the zombiedom. That was the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I get it. And that just seemed like, to me, it's like,
but it was
this is what fucking
this is where they're going with it. And now like it's like
where they're going. It was just like an alternate
weird
universe.
It was
never
we need to do something nutty and crazy because we need to make comics.
Well, still, it's like Lobo 52 or whatever the fuck his name is. Lobo.
So
the fucking,
that's where I'm like,
Lobo.
No, the fucking skinny
New 52.
New 52.
Oh,
Lobo.
New 52.
Yeah, bullshit version. That's
so
what it is. Like,
all I'm saying is that they're like reaching into territory that might not be as wildly familiar to a lot of people because the legacy isn't as profound as the Infinity Wars.
Let's just put it this way: the Endgame tease did nothing for us.
Yeah, so
not for you, not for me. I don't know about
I'm sure some people will be totally fine with Captain Marvel being the NTs, and I know a lot of people are excited about that. But the reaction in the audience is like the best the best way
Yeah.
to interpret what happened. Like we
yeah.
had a packed theater, and the reaction that was leading up. There's a really great moment where you see Nick Fury, and he's driving along, and weird shit starts happening, and everyone's disappearing because Thanos has summoned everyone to be gone.
Yeah.
Half people to be gone. So Nick Fury vanishes, and he's got a communicator or something, and he's got a great Sam Jackson moment. And the communicator drops, and you see who he was contacting, and it's the logo of the next character, and it is Captain Marvel. The audience reaction was the exact same thing I had. Everyone went, oh.
Yeah.
It was literally like, oh.
Yeah. And then one guy had to ask me at the end of the theater. He's like, hey, what was that thing?
I had to ask Jessica.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who that is.
Oh, and the guy,
I first thought it was. I thought it was like the Nova Corps or something.
Yeah.
Like, the Marvel Green Lanterns are going to come help shit out.
Yeah.
But it was Captain Marvel.
Yeah, because they're already shooting a movie for
I know.
it.
Yeah, right.
I know.
So that movie takes place in the 90s.
Can I ask a question here? What is your disdain for Captain Marvel?
She is the driest. Whenever I have been shown things of Captain Marvel or seen characters and much less Marvel Infinite and other shit, she's the driest fucking character. Okay. She's like a less interesting Supergirl.
So what does she do? She flies and
she punches
things.
Yep.
Real good.
Like she just doesn't.
You're like, okay.
She's just Superman, much less Supergirl.
Yeah,
maybe they'll do something really.
But she has like
maybe the movie's gonna change my mind.
Right.
But
she has a Dragon Ball kind of super and shit like that. She has powers that she could propel at you and shit like that.
Yeah,
she's just Power
energy and all
yeah, she has energy.
Yeah,
she blasts at you.
She's Power Girl / Supergirl.
There you go.
I don't think she has any like laser.
She has no eyes, but yeah.
No,
it's cool. They gave
but...
Thor a moment. I'm just thinking of Superman moment, like where he's taking the entire power of a collapsed sun.
Yeah,
I thought that was cool because remember how Superman.
I did love
Thor would be stronger. So
did.
he was just standing in front of the power of like a neutron star.
It makes you
like, he's a god.
There is an interesting
Showing
moment in the movie where Thanos has almost every single Infinity Stone and he's battling like everybody, and there's a moment where he fucking blows up a moon
and just sends it down,
sends the meteors of the moon down to the planet, and I'm just like. Here's an interesting comparison. Tony Stark with his cool metal suit.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, which is punching things kind of hard with his little webs.
Yeah.
And this guy just blew up a fucking planet.
Yeah.
And is sending the meteors. It's like he's either... like
having fun.
It was really awesome, but then it boiled down to like, why don't you just make them not exist?
Disappear.
Yeah.
Like, why don't you just do that to you?
Yeah.
And that's what, exactly.
And which is even funnier because you remember when he got, I think it was Spider-Man who cut him? It was Iron Man. Iron Man cut him, and he was like, oh, actual blood. Let me punch you some more. Punch!
He's like, all that for a drop of blood.
Yeah, right? Like, you could...
He has some cool lines.
He does have some cool lines.
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't think Thanos is bad. It's just... And I don't even know of a way to do it better. And that's kind of the problem. That is the problem of the Infinity War.
Well, and I feel like I made my peace with like, what would I do better? I would have made it like this thing where he's like on this goddamn like mission for death, which is an unrequited love, but he's trying to make the ultimate sacrifice for someone who can never love him back, and it just drives him mad.
I would have taken away the story between him and Gamora and did something with him, and because that is a little bit more believable. But if they actually found a way to establish why he has such a love for the girl, then I would have felt more for the character.
I think maybe, and this may just, I don't know if it's true or not, but maybe,
would have been cool, though.
Maybe the whole thing with Thanos and death they thought was just a little too
much. A little too much.
Hokey.
Yeah, it's a little too much.
Like, he's in love with death?
Yeah,
he's a skeleton?
Nobody would have gotten that.
Why? That's stupid.
That's a little over
That's really stupid. We'll make him a father who's actually really in love.
Give me a fucking break. In the comic books,
they literally dad of war Thanos.
Yeah, in the comic books, Thanos has a fucking helicopter. He has a Thanos helicopter.
That's right.
Some things they need to get rid of to stop some shit.
It says his name on it,
Thanos. Like, some things you need to take away. Like, as a director, you need to understand.
I get you.
They're not going to use that. We're not going to use death. We're not going to use a fucking
helicopter. It would be kind of
helicopter.
crazy to see a manifestation of death.
Of course, but it's a little too much.
For a half second, we almost thought it was like, oh shit.
A half second, I thought he was going to leave, and I was like, oh shit, they're putting. No, it's not death.
Yeah, and they almost teased it, and it wasn't.
It was Red Skull, which was cool.
Red Skull.
It was fine.
So I mean, I think a lot of other people were anticipating the same thing about the very last teaser.
Yeah,
that I think a lot of people wanted it to be an X something. But
they may be saving it for the next movie when when the deal's gone through.
Yeah.
Right. How does that take, though? How does a deal like that take?
Movie already.
Well, here's the thing.
Congress has to approve
shit
it.
has already gone... Congress still has to approve it, but shit has already gone through because the X-Men movies from this point forward, like the Phoenix Saga...
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm a little... I'm not hip with the whole legal stuff like that. What the fuck does Congress have to do with them?
Oh, it's a monopoly. They have to determine whether or not they have too much control.
Oh, okay, so it's like Microsoft bullshit, or good. All right.
Yeah, that's literally it.
Okay, I gotcha.
You own
everything.
You now own 60% of the entire film industry.
Right, that's a problem for the economy.
Just in general.
Yeah.
There are anti-monopoly laws.
Yes, that's true. Okay.
So the big thing that's happening with the new X-Men movies from Fox.
This happened today.
This
came out today.
The next X-Men movie won't have X-Men in the title.
It's just called Dark Phoenix now.
It's just called Dark Phoenix. So, and I'm assuming that later X-Men things that get re-released on DVD or Blu-ray will actually not have the term X-Men in the title anymore.
Yeah.
So if they release Days of Future Past again somehow with like a new Extreme Edition, it's just going to be called potentially Days of Future Past.
It'll be interesting what they do when the deal's done or whatever. Will they take away the name X-Men or not for the old movies? Yeah. For the new movies, they're just saying Dark Phoenix, New Mutants, no X-Men in it.
Yeah. And New Mutants is supposed to be like the 90s thing, right?
That movie got delayed fucking twice.
Oh, wait, well, was that the one that was more of a horror movie?
Dark Phoenix, yeah, it's a horror movie. And they're apparently like trying to get rid of the horror aspect of it, I guess, now.
Well, there you go.
But no, Dark Phoenix is the 90s one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you think this would have anything to do
with coming out this summer,
MVCI at all?
What?
Would you think that this has anything to do with MVCI? Like them not putting in those characters in this early because they physically...
Oh, I think Captain Marvel being the face of Marvel Infinite is absolutely everything to do with it. I think most of the Marvel side selection has absolutely everything to do with it.
Right.
Let's not talk about that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the
gotta believe
where the X-Men are going in terms of the newer X-Men with like the Dark Phoenix saga. Where the fuck does that pick up on? Does that pick up on James McAvoy?
It's after Apocalypse, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. God damn, that movie sucked.
Yeah.
It did.
It was really bad.
It really did. And it's really a shame, too, because
really,
Apocalypse could have been a really cool thing.
It's crazy to see that Bryan Singer, I don't know how all of his shit got brushed underneath all the stuff that happened. But
that all his personal life somehow
was crazy.
But it was weird how, like, I think he did such a great job with Days of Future Past, and then Apocalypse comes in. That's like... It's just a dud of a film.
It's just not. I every time I watch it on a plane, I got halfway through and tried to pick up again, and I just lost interest.
I saw all of Apocalypse on a plane. God rest Virgin Airlines. But yeah, like just man, like I really wish I could be excited because I really do feel like Days of Future
Apocalypse
Past
is a super sick character.
Apocalypse is a super sick character and could have been a super sick character. Where the fuck was Bishop for most of that movie? But whatever.
Oh my god! Just to think that Deadpool 3 could be about Bishop.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I gotta say, I'm actually kind of excited for Deadpool 2.
And you know what? This actually leaves me more excited for Deadpool 2
because it's like it's embracing the overall cheesiness of X-Force. Like Deadpool 2 is basically X-Force at this point with Terry effing Crews.
Yeah.
I don't know who the actor is, but there's an actor playing fucking Shatterstar.
Yeah.
Of all
there's
goddamn
Domino.
things.
Yeah.
Domino and Deadpool, and then I forget the really cool looking chick's name with the whip. With the electricity shit. And I'm like, this is dope. This is dope. I am super down for fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, and it's funny how like Fox is now writing alternative X-Men within Deadpool. I'm like, because that's all the Deadpool was alternative X-Men.
Yeah.
And X-Force was as well. So
the thing is, I feel like at this point, Deadpool's going away the minute fucking Disney gets done with their deal.
Oh yeah, obliterated like the end of fucking this movie.
Fucking
just disappeared into the ether. Yeah,
I heard they didn't want to do that.
Well, they probably love money.
There was something they said. What was it? A few months ago, where they were like, "No, we don't." It was recently where they're like, "We're not going to get rid of it. We'll just have to find a way to like properly like label it so people don't get confused that it's a Marvel movie." I'm like, I mean, bring back Marvel Knights. Yeah, Disney was saying like, we're not going to get rid of Deadpool. I'm like, yeah, it made so much fucking money. But yeah, I don't have much faith in there being a Deadpool 3 right now, just because I'm like, once Disney gets a hold of that, like that R-rated, raunchy ass, fucking, self-referencing in the fact that, yes, X-Men will definitely show up in Marvel Phase 4 or whatever the fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to happen. Like, let's not kid
It's going to
ourselves.
happen at the end of...
Yeah.
It's going to happen at the end of the next movie because they're going to have to tease the next threat at the end of the next movie.
Right.
And it's going to be something mutant related.
Right. And guess what? Like, they will not let Deadpool cross over with X-Men, which will be in their Marvel Cinematic Universe now.
Of course not.
They cannot be interacting with foul-mouthed ass Deadpool.
Yeah, of course.
Even if they keep Deadpool, which they might.
Just make them separate.
He's going to be separate. No more X-Men with Deadpool, and I feel that's kind of a shame.
Yeah. I mean,
Deadpool's a great standalone.
To be honest,
Deadpool's a great
Deadpool,
standalone.
from what I understand, has always been very separate from X-Men in many ways. Like,
Sort of?
thinking of himself like
But here's the thing.
he's been a part of them, but then not.
We're going to immediately lose Cable because it's the same goddamn actor as Thanos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But Cable's like an interesting side character.
And he is the fucking son of Cyclops, so it's like...
As long as we get Maverick back, that's all I want.
Maverick? You want Maverick back.
This Cable with spikes.
All I'm saying is, the only good thing I can say is, I hope Terry Crews survives the transition, because goddamn it, I would love Terry Crews to be a superhero in X-Men and the MCU coming up in the future. That would be great.
So,
he could be Blue Marvel.
Ultimately, you should definitely go see it. I mean, of all the minor gripes we have, because it is what it is a very fun movie to watch. I would even say I wouldn't mind watching it again, because it does have pretty good pacing, and it does have fun shit that happens, and I do enjoy watching the characters. It is a pretty movie.
It's actually very, very impressive when you consider the cast size.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you thought it seemed almost impossible for like the first Avengers to be a thing, and they actually make it happen. And the movie's completely functional. How crazy! Right. But that movie mostly focuses around Tony.
I was very anticipated to see this movie, and I was pleasantly surprised. I think it built up to the hype, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
You know what movie I don't think is going to build up to the hype? Venom. Just my personal opinion.
Oh, that movie.
I don't think
to really say this, Venom suit looks good.
Venom looks awesome, but every time a character spoke,
everything in that trailer is kind of bad.
Real bad.
It's
real bad.
Kind of awful.
Real bad.
Sony Marvel.
Your boss is a bad person. I'm like, that was a line.
Everything in that trailer looks real bad except the Venom shot at the end.
Yeah.
Well, the Venom shot and the part where Venom and Eddie are talking to each other, great.
Yeah.
Fucking great. Then the whole movie should be
like when he's all pinned up against the wall, we can do whatever we want. I'm like, that's Venom.
This is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
Yeah.
But then he shot dicks out of him at every moment, and I was just like, all right, he needs to put the
He shot dicks to grab his bike.
Like, why would we do that?
Yeah. I need this bike back.
But every dude in that trailer gets shot with a Venom dick at some point. I have no faith the movie will be good. I do want to see it because Venom looks fucking dope. Venom looks like the way he always
Venom is going to
and
be...
he sounds the way he
That is
always
going to be the
sound.
height of the fucking movies. Oh, there he is!
Yeah.
All right.
He better not be like, man, yeah, Venom's in the movie like 1/10 of the movie.
Yeah, if they Godzilla 2014 Venom, Sony shot themselves in the foot hard.
Well, they did the last Venom. The last Venom only got like what, 10 minutes of screen time.
Well, that's because Sam
the
Raimi
director hated him.
Yeah, so it's like,
I think with this one being called Venom, it better not be fucking 8 minutes of Venom.
Yeah,
I'll be pissed.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Well, there you go. I think we'd all recommend to go see it. Definitely worth checking out.
Score, Steve?
Go this way.
Me? 9.5 out of 10, man. It's fucking awesome. It's my top one now. Well, not top, but it's in the top 3 now. I fucking loved it.
So,
That's an 8.
yeah,
Steve?
It's probably about as good as it can be.
I'd say definitely a 9. It built up. It built up to what it was supposed to be. It is everything that I expected, and it was a great story on top of it. Completely unexpected ending, and a completely unexpected focus on a character that I never thought would be interesting enough to focus on.
Yeah.
Go fig, right?
Yeah.
Then they actually kept me interested for a very long time. 9 out of 10.
I give it like an 8.13333.
What the fuck?
I don't want to give it an 8 because I feel like it's too low, but I don't want to give it an 8.5 because I feel like that's too high.
8.25.
Yeah, no, that's too high. 8.13333. Yeah, we're on a hard decimal system here. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't know if I didn't like it more than Black Panther. I'd probably give Black Panther about a 9. But my favorite Marvel movie still is the Winter Soldier. Outside of I don't even know if the first Iron Man counts. Like
It doesn't.
It does.
It
Well, it absolutely is because it is the first,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it is so not like a Marvel movie because it was like the beginning and the direction was so.
Yeah, I think Paramount released it.
Yeah, it is. It is so different of a film.
Yeah.
I don't know. I of the current Marvel pantheon, I would say it's definitely one of the ones that I enjoy. I'd put it in top 5.
Let's keep it real, man. This movie could have gone horribly.
Oh yeah,
It could have gotten
I think
so bad.
I think it's the best Avengers.
Once
Could've gotten-
again,
Best Avengers easy.
Of the 3, I think it's the best Avengers.
Yeah,
I guess I would have to go back and watch the first Avengers movie, but I think I might like the first Avengers movie more.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know why.
More Hulk.
Maybe.
Ah,
More
maybe-
Hulk.
Yeah.
There is that sort of like newness and never seen this shit before to
Right.
the first Avengers.
Yeah, and I think that
It
might
was
be
always kind of
why.
like a hard thing to shake, you know.
Well, that's what's good is that the second Avengers just felt like the first Avengers was not done as well,
Yeah.
and then this one does not really feel like an Avengers movie,
yeah.
which is good. It doesn't because like there's so much shit going
It actually
on.
feels like an event.
Yeah, it feels like an event and
that
not
happened
just.
to the Avengers.
Everyone's got to get together again to do the thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
no,
yeah.
like this is everyone's apart and they all have their own stories and we're usually the stories in this movie take place at 3 different spots, like
Yeah.
consistently
Yeah,
with
at
all
least,
these characters in chunks doing different things. So while you would think that would make the movie very hard to follow, it actually isn't. And I got to give them huge credit for that. Like I was following everything that was going on with where the characters were going and what they were doing. I never got lost within the fucking Marvel 2 roster this movie has, which is absolutely commendable. Like I said, I don't know how they would do it better. So,
Other than like the quibbles we had.
other
about,
than with
like,
weird minor shit.
Yeah.
So there you go. Go see Avengers Infinitus War. It's pretty good.
In the dick!